Social update UG. KDF versus UPDF. That is Kenya's Defense Force versus Uganda People's Defense Force. How Kenya and Uganda compare on military firepower. So let's look at the way in which Uganda and Kenya compare on military power. On military firepower. Kenya Defense Forces soldiers left under African Union mission in Somalia patrol Kismayu town in November 22nd, 2015, and Uganda People's Defense Force (UPDF) returned after withdrawing from the DRC embattled Ituri region. In this file photo taken on May 19th, 2003. Kenya, it was taken in 2015. Anyway, let's try to compare. First of all, what you need to know is that the Global Firepower website states that Kenya has 959 armored vehicles, while Uganda has 1,056. This, however, does not include the 118 new armored military vehicles that Kenya is acquiring from Turkey in a deal worth Kenyan shillings 9.87 billion. Uganda People's Defense Force Commander General Kainerugaba on Monday tweeted, and then there was a meltdown on Twitter, warning that he and his army would only take 2 weeks to capture Nairobi. And it may have been a terrible joke, but it reignited the debate on which of the two countries has the best military to guard against external aggression. Global Firepower, which assesses countries' military strengths, ranks Kenya 81st out of 142. In its latest annual review, 11 slots above Uganda's 92nd position at the beginning of this year. Kenya is in the 81st position. Uganda is in the 92nd position. The agency says Uganda has 47,000 active military personnel with an additional 10,000 reserves, while Kenya has 24,000 with no reserves. Kenya's paramilitary forces, however, ranks better at 5,000 compared to Uganda's, which is at 1,500. Paramilitary means, I think, it could be the medical military team. I don't know properly. You can tell me what you think in the comments about that kind of statement. But then air power, let's go to air power. Kenya's air power ranks better than Uganda's, though Kampala recently acquired at least three male Mi-28 Havoc attack helicopters from Russia. Kenya has fighters/interceptors, which are 17, helicopters, which are 87, and attack helicopters, which are 2, for a total air fleet of 151, while Uganda has fighters, which are 10, helicopters 25, and attack helicopters 5, for a total air fleet of 49. So Kenya has a total air fleet of 151, while Uganda has only 49. Uganda is yet to release the findings of investigation into 3 fatal crashes of its Air Force helicopters on Mountain Kenya on August 12, 2012, that killed 7 of its Air Force personnel and injured 23 crew members. They were allegedly en route to Mogadishu for the African Union mission in Somalia, AMISOM. The Global Firepower website states that Kenya has 959 armored vehicles, while Uganda has 1,056. This, however, does not include the 118 new armored military vehicles that Kenya is acquiring from Turkey in a deal worth Kenyan shillings 9.87 billion. The vehicles are expected in Kenya starting this year, with the last batch expected to arrive next year for deployment in counter-terrorism operations. Regarding finances, Kenya's purchasing power is rated higher than that of Uganda. For a long time, Uganda has claimed ownership of part of Kenya's 580,367 kilometer square land mass, a dispute that dates back to the era of the late President Idi Amin Dada, who, in his attempt to redraw the boundaries between the two countries in 1976, claimed Turkana, West Pokot, Trans Nzoia, all the way to Naivasha. Amin claimed that those areas had been transferred to Kenya by British colonialists as they demarcated territorial boundaries in East Africa. Uganda sits on a landmass of 241,038 square kilometers. He also claimed the whole of South Sudan, saying it was annexed from them around 1914 through an order of the Secretary of State under the 1902 Uganda Order in Council. It was not until President Jomo Kenyatta threatened to block Uganda's imports through the port of Mombasa that Amin backed down, assuring his neighbors that he had no intention of claiming an inch of their territories. He added that he was just enriching Ugandans on their history. The Mombasa port remains Uganda's leading gateway to the world as volumes of its exports and imports increasingly pass through it. In June 2004, Kenya reported that Uganda Marine Police had pitched a tent on Mijingo Island and raised the country's flag, reigniting a dispute that saw Kenya police officers deployed to the island. The dispute deepened when Kenya fishermen were asked to pay for special permits from the Ugandan government, but Kenya signed a memorandum of association with Uganda authorities to enable fishermen and other Lake Victoria users to access either side of the boundary. The agreement allowed both countries to share the waters. Then, for the territorial integrity, Kenyans must know that territorial integrity of the country will never be negotiated away. Monica Juba, the Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs at the time, said in 2019. In her series of tweets, General Mohoz wrote that these colonial borders must fall. To all compatriots, fellow countrymen and women, Uganda and Kenya, I say we must all conquer our fears. These colonial borders must fall. Despite these differences, the two countries have maintained a cordial relationship over time and shared security responsibilities on the border and in external missions. For instance, they co-guard the border in Busia, are cooperating in peacekeeping missions under the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia and the United Nations Stabilization Mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo. They will also soon be jointly deported to the East African Standby Force in the DRC. Ebino ebikwata ku ggwanga erya Uganda ne Kenya obuvuyo buzeoberawo mu nsi zombi, ate era n'okubeera nga tupimapimamu ku byokulwanisa byabwe. Kenya esingira ddala wala Uganda by far. Kenya esingira wala Uganda by far in terms of military power and might. Tell me what you think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button. Peace.